Hi everyone, and welcome to my rendition of INFP Tag. This was something of a video chain letter that was started by Treble Knight. That's gone through Anika the INFP, and then I think to Vondel Pete, next to Radish Raven and Older INFP Insights, and Radish Raven in turn invited myself and Bufo to basically tag your it. And so originally I saw this as being kind of grossly self-indulgent, and it's not of interest to me to do this amount of personal self-disclosure about how I feel about this, how I feel about that. But then two things came to mind. The first is that Radish Raven is really cool, and if I was invited, I really have no good reason to snub that invitation, because it's like, make nice, play along, because people are cool, and not participating would be sort of a jerk move. The second piece is that looking around, I thought that I would next maybe tag Kylie Lockhart, because once or twice over the years we've exchanged comments. But I think that Kylie has turned off her channel. And so this MBTI INFP-verse has grown thin. I mean, the people that I've mentioned, Anika is probably the only newer person out of that group, and a bunch of us have been around for 5, 6, 7 years plus. So we're not getting any younger. And for new blood, there's really just been Lightbearer's Library, or Kate Harmony, and she's kind of doing her own thing. She's got 4 or 5 times the amount of subscribers that I have. More power to her. It's great. Matt Sherman of Geek Psychology, of course, has been around forever and continues to do his thing. But after that, the list of MBTI INFP-verse YouTubers grows very thin. So I would say if you have ever had an interest in doing something on YouTube for INFP content, grab the 20 questions and jump right in. The water is warm. You'll never make any money off of it. That I can almost guarantee. And or if there is, it'll be a pittance. And you will probably get weird comments and bizarre stuff and start arguments, and then also make some friendships and get to know people. And so there'll be some cool aspects to it as well. So if you are driven to create content and this is something that compels you, please jump right in, because a lot of times people come in, they try it out for a couple of months, they do maybe a few videos, and then they move on. And the number of INFP YouTubers currently is low. There's not a lot of new content being made. So you could become part of this. Anyway, so I'll move on to the 20 questions. In good spirits, when did you first discover you were an INFP, and how did it make you feel at the time? I think it was maybe about 10 years ago. I thought in the 1980s that I was an ENFP because of errors in the 1980s, pre-internet. And then I just left all of that alone for a very long time. And I think when I revisited and then self-assessed and got from that assessment an INFP result, I may have been sad. I think I was sad at the time. But I wouldn't say that I discovered I was an INFP. I would say, when did I first come to believe I'm an INFP? Because I don't know that type is a process of discovery so much as it is a process of affiliation. So I believed that, but over time I have tested and iterated on that belief, and I believe validated it over time. So I would say there's no one time that I had a particular feeling, because it's been over a period. What part of being an INFP do you relate to the most? What INFP stereotype do you not relate to at all? I would say, what stereotypes do you relate to the most or not at all? And I haven't read a whole lot of the INFP content for quite a while now. The thing that I identify with most goes back to Jung's Psychological Types, chapter 10, the description of introverted feeling dominant. And that seems to be the template with which I can sit down and say, this makes sense to me. And conversely, because of that description, the thing that seems most jarring or most off about the modern interpretation of what an INFP is that thinking that it's a highly emotionally chaotic, or caught up in the winds of their emotions kind of type. I see it as being exactly the opposite. There's not much expressiveness to what happens externally at all. And that makes INFPs difficult to find if they choose not to reveal themselves. Or when they are found, it's because of other things. You see that any and a sort of flatness in the delivery. And that is, to me, what are some of the telltale signs that someone may be an INFP. The emotionally chaotic, the extreme displays of emotion, that doesn't quite seem to fit to me to type. Okay, what values are you absolutely unwilling to compromise on? It depends on what's meant by values and what's meant by the act of a compromise. I generally can't say what a specific universal value is. Rather, if a set of circumstances is placed before me as hypotheticals or real situation, then I can say some things about that. And I can't quite say whether there's something concrete, strongly felt, that is unequivocally the right thing to do that will come out of it. How do you usually know when something feels off or misaligned? You just know. You just know. That is, it's not knowledge in that sense, but it's the the evaluation process. You give it enough time, and the most correct outcome will be presented to you. For this, for example, there are a number of different outcomes, each one of which was successively more correct than the last. And this disclosure that I'm doing here now is the final and most correct of the correct outcomes that I could come up with. But you just feel that this is the right thing. What does authenticity mean to you in everyday life? I don't like the word. I think that everyone is authentic, regardless of their type, or can be authentic. Inauthenticity is not something that I find as a provable, widely spread societal issue. So I just would rather skip that question. Are you more driven by meaning or comfort, and has that changed over time? These are not mutually exclusive, so I don't know how to compare the two. It's like saying, do you prefer the color orange or do you prefer apples? It's like, well, I don't know. I mean, each is its own thing. You can be comfortable and find meaning, and both of them can be drivers depending on the circumstance. How do you recharge when you're emotionally drained? By resting. I think that's pretty universal, isn't it? I mean, people don't, if they're drained, they don't go out partying, or it just seems you would do the things that have reflection and solitude built into them. What kind of environments make you feel the most like yourself? I don't feel like anyone else but myself. So I would say any environment that I am put in, I am still me, and for better or worse. So I guess maybe if it was the environments that make me feel most comfortable or most, I don't know, actualized, I just don't know. How do you express yourself? With my mouth and sometimes my hands. Sometimes the eyebrows also help. Do you struggle more with starting things or finishing them? It depends on the project. Sometimes starting things is difficult, especially if you know it's something that will take a substantial amount of time and energy, in particular if it has to be done all in one go to complete it, so you need a chunk of time in order to do it. That would be difficult starting, because it's like, well, if I start this, I have to see it through and it has to be done. Thinking about there's a particular window repair that needs to be done, which takes apart the window, and it's kind of a problem if you take apart the window and then decide, well, I'll finish it tomorrow. That just doesn't work. So, how do you handle conflict, and what do you wish people understood about that? Conflict is, for the most part, pointless, and therefore it is not worth spending energy on. The thing being that I'm assuming social conflict, nobody tends to learn anything. People dig into their positions, and then you're stuck with people just being unwilling to budge, and I'm the only one who's listening. So it's a pointless waste of time. And therefore, I guess that's what I wish people would understand is when nobody listens, it's a pointless waste of time. What role does nostalgia play in your life? I have old books. I have other old stuff. I guess it's significant. Do you feel misunderstood more often than not? In what ways? Yes, but I think that universalizes because we are 16 types, or you can group them into more or fewer categories, but we experience consciousness differently, which means that we will express our understanding of what's going on differently. So for me to feel misunderstood, well, of course, but I would expect that I misunderstand other people at least as frequently as they misunderstand me. How do you balance wanting a deep connection with needing a lot of alone time? You find people that also need a lot of alone time and value deep connections. So then you're on the same wavelength. What helps you feel grounded when your thoughts spiral? My thoughts really don't spiral. I'm usually exhausted, and so very rarely is that an issue. That is, my thoughts spiral, but still, it isn't as if being ungrounded is some sort of sense of discomfort. It's just a matter of, can I put this brain to sleep and get to sleep? And that generally isn't a problem. How do you relate to structure, routines, or discipline? I like it. Reason being that there are certain things that I benefit from when structure is in place. That said, I'm not very good with structure. So if someone else were to set routines and put them in place, I think I'd be able to keep them until such point that I go nuts because I wouldn't want to be too structured. But I think it's a good thing. What kind of life are you secretly or not so secretly trying to build? If I haven't built it by now, it's not going to happen because I'm not exactly young anymore. So I've built myself a comfortable life, and I don't understand beyond that what the question would be about. How has being an INFP shaped your mental health journey? The issues that I had when I was a child have mostly been self-healing. That being said, I would certainly recommend that people do seek therapy or assistance with the things that they may have trouble getting over. And so I think it's been helpful, but I wouldn't be able to say for sure because I'm just me and other people are themselves. Do you feel drawn to spirituality's symbolism or deeper meaning? Yes. I would think that universalizes that. Not many people would say, I am driven to shallow meaning. I want to see things and not understand what they are all about. So As for the how-so, I've talked about it before. I'll sum it up by saying the ability to attain a state of grace and move in that state of grace is a precious and important thing. What's something small that brings you a surprising amount of joy? Well, we've adopted a dog. He's surprisingly small and he does bring me joy, but not a surprising amount of joy. I think it's predictable, the amount of joy that getting a small dog in your life would bring. I guess it's surprisingly joyful that I still have a lot of my old game books and I can just crack one of them open to a page, and it's between the smell of an older book and the typeface and the feel of it and the ideas that are there, it evokes a lot of good memories. Or somehow between that, music, there's other things that could bring me a surprising amount of joy for being rather, being inert objects. What advice would you give to younger or struggling INFPs? Do the thing. If somebody gives you an opportunity, as long as it's not illegal, immoral, or, otherwise the sort of thing that you say, I wouldn't do that if I were you, I would say do the thing. Even regardless of, and that is a universal recommendation, any type that struggles with engaging with the world, any person who struggles with engaging with the world, link up, find people that do engage and find a way to become part of it. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to play like forward in soccer, competitive sports, or anything major like that. It just means you have to engage in the world in ways that other people will assist. People are important, remarkably. How do you think being an INFP shows up in your relationships? That would be a whole conversation. But I am married, so I think I haven't really experienced with relationships, I'd have to say friendships and such, and I'm probably out of touch more with people than I should be. That's okay. And then finally, what do you want people to understand about you beyond personality types? Very little. I would be content for people not to know much about me, but if the content helps them understand themselves or lets them look with a fresh perspective at a particular problem, or if it provides some sort of a bridge that they can say, this person has got some ideas that are similar to my own. Maybe we have some other things in common. Then I would say I am happy with the outcome. But it's not so much about me, it's about what can possibly, I don't want people to understand me, that there's no useful thing that comes with that. What I want is for people to connect with the ideas and see if they resonate with what they're doing, and then if there's something valuable there, to take it and run with it. That's it. That's all I've got. I wished I could tag some other people, but I'll see if it's possible. Thanks, and boy, something less exciting next time.